They say the same words can be wisdom in one mouth and whining in another. It depends not on the truth inside them, but on the size of the wallet behind them. Asterisk, I once knew two men. Both had lived enough years to gather some thoughts about the world, the kind of thoughts you only arrive at after stumbling a few times, losing more than you win, and learning to live with both. The first man was wealthy. His clothes were simple, but you could tell by the way people leaned in when he spoke, the way silence settled over the room. He could say something as ordinary as, "Patience is the key to success," and it would be met with nods, with the quiet reverence reserved for great philosophers. The second man was poor. His shirt was worn at the collar, his hands rough from labor. He once told me the exact same thing. Patience is the key to success. Only this time, it was met with a polite smile, maybe a distracted glance at a phone, maybe even the unspoken thought, "Easy for you to say." Same words, different weight. Asterisk, it made me wonder. Perhaps we don't listen to words for their truth, but for the story we think the speaker's life tells. When someone rich says, "Follow your dreams," we imagine they have proof that it works. When someone poor says it, we assume they're clinging to a fantasy. It's not always about wisdom. Sometimes, it's about packaging, and money is the most persuasive packaging of all. Asterisk, imagine words as seeds. When they fall from a rich hand, people plant them in fertile soil, water them, and wait for them to bloom. When they fall from a poor hand, they are often left on the pavement. Maybe they could have grown, but no one bothered to give them a chance. We don't realize how often we measure truth by its source, rather than its substance. It's a bias so quiet you rarely notice it, and perhaps we're all guilty of it. Asterisk, I remember being at a dinner once, seated between a man who owned half the restaurants in the city and a waitress who had just lost her job. The owner spoke about failure, how he'd gone bankrupt once, slept in his car, and then rebuilt his empire. Everyone listened like students at the feet of a master. Later, the waitress spoke about her own failures, about not being able to pay rent, about trying to start again. And though her story was just as raw, just as human, forks kept moving, glasses kept clinking, the table didn't go quiet for her. Asterisk, this isn't to say the rich are wrong, or that their lessons are worthless. Many have earned their place through effort, luck, or both. But it does mean that wisdom wears a disguise, and we too often judge it by the costume. A truth from the lips of the wealthy becomes a philosophy. The same truth from the lips of the poor becomes a complaint. Asterisk, if we stripped away the faces, the clothes, the bank accounts, and only listened to the words themselves, how much of what we dismiss might actually be worth keeping? How many treasures have we walked past, simply because they weren't wrapped in gold? Asterisk, the next time you hear someone speak anyone, try to listen as if you don't know who they are, or what they own. You may find that truth is quieter than you thought, and that wisdom doesn't always come dressed for the stage. Because in the end, maybe the real question isn't who's speaking, maybe it's, am I truly listening?